Can you imagine sharing a seat all year with the boy you hate the most? But little by little, you realize he's not as bad as you thought. Dinan is a shy yet determined girl with a talent for drawing. Her family has just moved to a new place. For a fresh start, new friendships, and of course to help her get good grades and finally graduate from high school. Her parents are thrilled because they're now neighbors with the Zhou family, old friends who also helped Dinan's father get a teaching job at her school. To welcome them, the Zhou family hosts a dinner for Dinan's family. Their beloved son, Zhou Si, lives with them. He's the smartest and most popular boy in school, excelling in math, programming, and robotics. Though he isn't very sociable, he's well-liked for his looks and intelligence. During dinner, Dinan's mother starts complimenting Zhou's appearance and even reveals that their grandparents arranged an engagement between Dinan and Zhou when they were kids. Zhou quickly asks how to cancel the engagement, which earns him a scolding from his parents for being rude. As if her mom's comments weren't enough, Dinan also overhears Zhou's friends making fun of her, calling her a monster. She knocks on their door to ask for some toilet paper and then asks Zhou if he heard what they said. Instead of answering, he just asks her if she wants to cancel the engagement. She replies that if he needs her to say it, then no, she doesn't want to cancel. Later, she goes to the pharmacy for medicine after hitting her head during the move and runs into Zhou again. She doesn't have enough money to pay for the medicine, so Zhou offers to cover the cost and tells her to treat him to lunch later to settle the debt. During lunch, he tries to downplay what his friends said, claiming they didn't mean any harm. But then he jokes about the bump on her forehead, which angers her and causes her to leave. Soon, their first day of school arrives. Both try to avoid each other on the way to class, but fate has other plans. They end up having to share the same seat in class, which makes Dinan very uncomfortable. Later, Dinan runs into her old friend Buon from her hometown. He's kind and supportive, doing his best to help her adjust to the new school. One day, Dinan switches seats to get as far away from Zhou as possible. Surprisingly, Zhou doesn't seem happy about it, and her new seatmate turns out to be even more annoying. She meets her dad at school and is delighted to see him. He knows she's struggling to adjust and gives her his full support, which really lifts her spirits. On their way home, they bump into Zhou's mom and Yu. Dinan's dad worries about her walking to school alone, so he asks Zhou and Yu to accompany her. Zhou and Yu agree, with Zhou saying it's no problem since they're good friends. The next morning, Dinan and Zhou head out for school and, as usual, can't stop bickering. Her father, concerned about a teacher mentioning that she doesn't get along well with some boys, asks Zhou and Yu to keep an eye on her on the way to school. Zhou takes this request seriously. He's attentive and always watches over her. In PE class, when Dinan is nearly hit by a basketball, Zhou protects her just in time, making both their hearts race a little faster. Her father had given her some candy to share with her classmates, but being shy, she hesitates. Luckily, her friend Su Buon encourages her, and it turns out to be a great decision. Though one girl tries to humiliate her by mocking Zhou while eating one of the chocolate, despite claiming she doesn't like sweets, Dinan doesn't let it bother her. Later, while looking for her little brother at an arcade, Dinan runs into her classmates. They all decide to hang out, and she joins them. She tries to win a stuffed dinosaur from a claw machine but fails, prompting her little brother to tease her. Feeling embarrassed, she leaves quickly. The next day, Zhou cleverly convinces the teacher to switch seats again, this time making Dinan his seatmate. She's surprised to see he gives her the very same stuffed dinosaur she couldn't win. As they playfully struggle over it, they end up blushing from how close they get. Dinan feels truly happy. Things are going much better than she ever imagined. Even though Zhou still acts rude sometimes, she enjoys being around him. He's also becoming more considerate, helping her with her heavy backpack and talking to her more than before. Just when things are going well, a new girl transfers back to school. Her name is Chun. She's a beautiful, smart, and very popular girl, and she seems to have her eyes on Zhou. Naturally, Dinan feels uneasy around her. Dinan later learns that her father had asked Chun to look out for her, which makes her feel frustrated and angry. So when she runs into Zhou in class, she acts distant and cold. While walking through the hallway, a boy accidentally spills his drink on Dinan. But then, like a knight in shining armor, Zhou appears and covers her with his coat. Touched, she thanks him. He asks why she didn't wait for him that morning, and she opens up, telling him he's not obligated to take care of her. He just smiles and brings up something from their past. She suddenly remembers. When they were kids, he once stayed at her house during a flood. When he asked where the bathroom was, she explained, but he didn't understand and ended up wetting the bed. She quietly kept his secret. That's why, when she moved into town, he immediately recognized her. He had always wanted to be near her. Dinan laughs and promises to keep his secret forever. Now that they're closer, they start making plans together. While eating, she tells him she wants to explore the city, and he offers to take her anywhere she wants. Just then, Su Buon shows up, and our jealous boy watches, clearly unhappy with how close Dinan and Buon seem. Later, Dinan and Shou go to the movies and enjoy a great time together on the way home. They both spot a teacher and quickly hide. They definitely don't want him to catch them on what looks like a date. While they wait for him to pass, it starts to rain and Shou sweetly covers Dinan with his shirt. The next day brings another adorable moment. Dinan's mom gives her a horribly bitter herbal remedy to boost her immunity. Noticing her struggle, Shou kindly offers her a piece of candy so it won't taste as bad. With the end-of-year holidays approaching, things start to get hectic. Dinan is busy doing homework, trying to keep her grades up, because the teacher warned that failing students would have to change seatmate. Shou, surprisingly, doesn't enjoy the holiday celebrations at all because she's not there. Worried, they go to Dinan's house to find her. She cheers up when she sees them and agrees to join them to watch the fireworks, eventually finding a perfect spot to enjoy the show together. Dinan begins to see Shou in a new light, cherishing every moment by his side. Soon, it's time for the important semester exam she worked so hard for. She's nervous, knowing that failing would mean being separated from him in class. Unfortunately, she catches the flu. Shou visits her at home to bring notes. Dinan feels awkward and flustered having him in her personal space. She tells him she's going back to her hometown for Chinese New Year. Saddened, he gives her his phone number and tells her to call him anytime she needs. Later, he even gushes about her to his mom, who's now certain that her son is falling for this girl. Meanwhile, Su Buon also returns to their hometown and spends time with Dinan. But no matter how much fun they try to have, neither Dinan nor Shou can stop thinking about each other. So when Dinan is about to call him, he beats her to it, wishing her a happy new year. Su Buon sees the call, and although he says nothing, it clearly hurts him. School starts back up again, and Dinan is overjoyed to find she's still sitting beside Shou. Even better, they both pass their exams. To celebrate, she invites him out that weekend and reveals it's her birthday. Wanting to make it special, Shou surprises her with a trip to a space museum, where he arranges for constellations to appear just for her birthday. Later, while cleaning the classroom with her friend, a popular girl named Yukke walks in and hands Dinan a love letter meant for Shou. Dinan's friend immediately tears it up to protect her from potential heartbreak. But this bothers Dinan. She believes it's wrong to destroy someone else's feelings like that. So, in an unexpected move, Dinan rewrites the letter in her own handwriting and gives it to Shou. He's deeply moved. Recognizing the handwriting as hers, he assumes she has feelings for him. As Yukke continues to send more small gifts to Shou through Dinan, he believes they're from Dinan as well. Inspired, he decides to return the favor and give her a gift. But just as he's building up his feelings, Dinan's friend breaks the truth to him. The gifts weren't from Dinan, they were from Yukke. And that realization leaves him heartbroken. He immediately gets angry and tells him to stop being everyone else's messenger. He's also upset that she keeps distancing herself from him for no clear reason. Even though they were avoiding each other, he left her a note inside one of his sketches, inviting her to dinner because it was her birthday. She immediately went to look for him. She also had a gift she'd made for him a while ago, a beautiful drawing of the universe. Unfortunately, she arrives late, which upsets her, but he forgives her and they end up celebrating together, just the two of them. She gives him the drawing and he's thrilled. Then he surprises her with a gift, a brand new phone, her very first, so they can always stay in touch. The next morning, he texts her saying he's waiting downstairs. They head to school together. She makes up with her friend, and they become inseparable again. Yuck Cat approaches Dang, wanting to be friends. She apologizes for using her as a messenger and makes it clear she doesn't have feelings for Yuck. Dang's mother insists she pursue art instead of science, but Dang isn't happy about it. As a quiet act of rebellion, she secretly chooses science without telling her parents. Her friend tells her she'd look cute with bangs, which lifts her mood. She wants to look pretty for her crush. Right then, a ball hits her, thrown by her crush. He immediately takes her to the infirmary with help from her friend and without her mom knowing. It's makeover time. She's nervous, thinking her friend will take her to a salon, but instead, her friend insists she's great at cutting hair. Turns out, not so much, she accidentally cuts the bangs too short. Now Dang doesn't want to be seen. She's mortified when her crush sees her, but he tells her she looks cute, which makes her really happy. After playing pool, he walks her home, complimenting her bangs the whole way. When she gets home, her brother says she looks awful. Her mom is furious. Not only did she cut her hair without permission, but she also secretly chose to study science. While buying water, a guy steals her phone. She chases after him and ends up in a dangerous situation, getting pursued by several guys. She manages to hide, terrified. She shows up at her crush's place, and he rushes to rescue her, but he gets beaten up. Some of their friends arrive and help him, and the attackers flee. It turns out he had left campus while training for a competition. He wasn't supposed to, but he did it just to make sure she got home safely. Eventually, she gets good grades, and her mom finally allows her to study science. One day, she notices her crush missed class, so she goes to his house to find him. When he doesn't respond, she throws rocks at his window and accidentally breaks the glass. When he finally comes out, she finds out he's sick. She takes the opportunity to make him something to eat and takes care of him that same afternoon. Meanwhile, his mother discovers her diary, reads it, and realizes she's in love. In a panic, she throws the diary out the window so her mother won't read more. When she goes to look for it, he shows up to help, but they can't find it. Seeing how sad she is, he invites her to stay at his place for a while. To lift her mood even more, he shows her a little robot he built that dances for her. It definitely makes her smile. That night, she asks if she can sleep over at his house, but he immediately says no and insists she go home. Her mother is happy when she sees him bring her home. She even asks if her daughter has a boyfriend, and he says he doesn't know, which reassures her. It seems the girl never mentioned his name in the diary, or her mother couldn't read it. Later, she changes seats in class because she failed one of her exams, but she doesn't tell him. He notices she's upset all day, and when he asks why, she stays quiet. He assumes she's mad at him. She starts feeling jealous when she sees him close to another girl and assumes he's in love with her. This makes her angry. She later goes to a play and a show, and he attends too when they go out. She sprains her ankle, and he helps her. Later, they talk, and he asks why she changed seats. She finally tells him everything. It was an agreement with the teacher, who thought they were dating and worried it might affect her performance. She promised to change seats if her grades dropped, and they did. He feels relieved knowing she's not upset with him. On the way home, he gives her a beautiful gift, special tools so she can paint. She later finds out that he asked Yoon Si for help to get them, which makes her happy. Now she knows he's not in love with someone else. He encourages her to join a painting contest, something she'd often argued about with her mother. In the end, she participates and wins. One day, she has menstrual cramps, and he thoughtfully gives her a hot water bottle. After everyone leaves, she falls asleep. He skips gym class to bring her a hot drink and gently wraps his jacket around her. They talk about their future dreams, which brings them closer together. Vacation begins, and her class goes on a camping trip. While gathered around a campfire, the teacher asks them to hold hands for an activity. It makes both of them really happy. Later, they sit together, listening to music and sharing the same pair of headphones. He surprises her with a private website he created for her to use as a new diary, since the original one was lost. This melts her heart, and she starts showering him with praise. Eventually, the two fall silent, hearts racing. Just as they're about to kiss, he pulls back. Not because he doesn't want to, but because he's happy just knowing that she wanted to kiss him. Then she receives a call from her mom and learns that her grandmother has been hospitalized. Her mother and brother return to their hometown to care for her, leaving her alone since her father isn't home either. That night, she senses someone lurking outside her house, possibly a thief, which terrifies her. So she ends up staying at her beloved's house. Now, the two of them are closer than ever. They go shopping together, and she adores looking at his baby pictures. They keep bumping into each other, even on the way to the bathroom, and she finds herself falling deeper in love with him each day. She writes all of this in her diary, how she loves him just the way he is, imperfections and all. Her friend, seeing how in love she is, urges her to confess her feelings before they leave for college. When she finally finds herself alone with him, she gets so nervous that she can't say anything. Then the lights go out, he lights a candle, and they listen to music together, staring into each other's eyes. She tells him she wants to attend the same university as him. He likely takes that as a confession of love. Soon after, she has to return to her hometown because her grandmother passes away. Her whole family is heartbroken, especially her father. It's now New Year's, but both she and her beloved are going through difficult times. His parents are having serious issues. She tries to lift his spirits by singing him a cheerful back-to-school song. As a surprise, she tells him they'll be seatmates again. Since graduation is near, he tells her it would be a shame to finish the year without her by his side. She takes a major entrance exam to get into the same university as him, but she feels terrible afterward, convinced that she failed. To cope, she goes to karaoke with her friend and vents her frustrations. Meanwhile, Zhou Si Yue ends up drunk. Even though she's struggling, he carries her home on his back because she's too weak to walk. She confesses to him that she's afraid they'll drift apart once they become adults. He reassures her that won't happen. She kisses him sweetly on the cheek, and the gesture touches him deeply. She ends up getting good grades and receives acceptance letters from several universities, but none close to him. Despite that, she insists on retaking the test next year so she can stay near him. Her mother scolds her for the decision, but she stands by it. When she tells Zhou Si Yue about her plan, he's surprised that she would go to such lengths just for him, but ultimately he supports her. He tells her he'll be leaving soon, and she says she'll miss him dearly. After their separation, things get tough for her. Her father is having issues at school, and she begins to worry that repeating the year might have been a mistake. She opens up to her friend and pours her heart out about how she truly feels. He arrives at the show and sees them together, immediately jumping to conclusions. This misunderstanding causes him to start distancing himself from her and ignoring her texts. She's confused and hurt, having no idea why he's acting this way. On top of that, she feels even more alone now that all her classmates have already graduated. Determined to see him, she visits his college, only to feel crushed when she sees him with another girl on his arm. Unbeknownst to her, it's just a girl who has been bothering him since his first day there. This moment causes Dexy to completely pull away from him, thinking he's moved on. A year later, she finally gets into the same college as her beloved. The first thing she does is go looking for him. But since she's not allowed into the boys' dorm, she stands outside and loudly calls his name while everyone stares. Eventually, he comes out and sees her. They have a heartfelt conversation where she confesses her love for him. When she asks if he feels the same, he quietly tells her he can't be in a relationship right now and pleads with her to leave. She walks away, completely heartbroken. Later, we find out the truth. He was in love with her all along. But his father's serious health problems and overwhelming hospital bills left him feeling helpless. If he couldn't even take care of his own family, how could he possibly take care of Dexy? Even after being rejected and treated coldly, she refuses to leave his side. One day, while following him again, she demands he finally tell her the truth. He eventually tells her that he's planning to leave soon to study abroad. She finds him again and tells him she doesn't believe it's just about going abroad. She's convinced he's running away. She promises she'll always be there for him, no matter what, because she truly loves him. Though he rejects her over and over and keeps ignoring her, deep down he's just as tormented. Later, she meets him with a smile and surprises him by saying she's also planning to study abroad, just to be near him. He gets angry and calls her decision absurd, upset that she's willing to give up everything for him. Now working at a cafe to pay her expenses, she still visits him regularly. Despite acting cold toward her, he gives her a decaf drink because he knows if she drinks regular coffee, she won't sleep. Small gestures like this show he still cares, even if he won't admit it. Both of them feel butterflies but say nothing. The next day, she studies at the cafe, and he finds out she's preparing for an important test required to study abroad. When she passes, she's overjoyed and rushes to tell him that she's made the team. But instead of celebrating, he tells her it's just the beginning and warns her how difficult the journey ahead will be. His pessimism hurts her. But she doesn't listen. She's determined to be by his side no matter what. She stares at him so much during work hours that he ends up distracted, making mistakes in his programming. And instead of studying, she spends her time drawing his face. One day, she begs him to help her with an assignment. He reluctantly agrees, but once again urges her to leave that difficult major and pursue something she truly enjoys. After they leave, she returns to the lab. Seeing the lights go out, he goes back to look for her. While searching in the dark, she jumps out and startles him from behind, causing them both to fall onto a table. She's just about to kiss him when the lights suddenly turn back on, interrupting the moment. The next day, they argue. She asks if he really wants her to drop out of her major. He says yes. Deeply hurt, she feels like he doesn't care about her at all. She cries, believing that all the efforts she made over the years, just for him, were meaningless, and concludes that he's never truly loved her. He tells her to leave him alone forever and walks away. So she decides to follow her passion, drawing. She's so talented that she lands a job at a major publishing house. One day they cross paths and she walks past him without even acknowledging him. He confides in a friend, explaining that all he ever wanted was for her to be happy, doing what she loves, not sacrificing herself for his sake. Later, his friend invites him to dinner. He accepts and to his surprise finds her there too. After a rather awkward dinner, his friend pulls him aside and admits that she's had feelings for Chang since they were kids. She also tells him that since he hurt her so badly, he should stay away from her. DJI overhears this and runs off. He chases after her and apologizes for being so harsh. He also confesses that he's done a lot of soul-searching and can't imagine life without her. He admits that he had gotten used to her always being there, and that it hurt not receiving anything in return, but it made him realize how much she means to him. Although he tries to stay close, she continues to ignore him. Later, he visits his father in the hospital and is touched to see that his parents have reconciled. They share a heartfelt conversation where his father reflects on how his own stubbornness damaged their relationship and stole precious time. He advises his son not to use his parents as an excuse because they can take care of themselves. This fills him with new determination to win DJI back. Their class plans a vacation trip, and DJI is invited too. He looks for a chance to be alone with her and asks her out. She rejects him. He opens up, apologizing for everything. After a long, honest conversation, he expresses deep regret for not being there during her hardest moment. She asks him if he even knows what love really is. But before he can answer, they're interrupted. He and his friends plan a surprise date and take her to an amusement park. Although she's a bit annoyed at first, she ends up having an amazing time. He even dresses up as a stuffed tiger to surprise her, which makes her incredibly happy. That night, as they're about to head home, it starts pouring. Just like on their first date, he shields her from the rain with his shirt, and they share a moment of nostalgia. Finally, they have a tender and romantic kiss. But she gets nervous and confused, so she runs off. Later, she tells him not to get his hopes up, that the kiss was just an accident. But our love-struck hero is determined to win her heart. After rescuing her from a room where one of her jealous classmates had locked her, he finally confesses his feelings and tells her he loves her. He even formally asks her to be his girlfriend. Just as she's about to respond, they get interrupted by the guard at the venue. But Zhou isn't the only one pursuing her. His loudmouth rival is also trying to win her over with expensive gifts and attention. Despite all that, she chooses her beloved over the flashy rival. He promises her that he'll never hurt her again, and his sincerity touches her deeply. She agrees to be his girlfriend. From that point on, they become inseparable. Everyone who sees them together can't help but melt from the cuteness. With his support, she begins to thrive in her career as a cartoon illustrator, which brings her joy. However, trouble soon arises when the company she works for is accused of copyright infringement, leaving her responsible for a huge fine. At this moment, her now successful businessman boyfriend steps in to help. Without saying a word, he pays the entire debt. But she had already made arrangements to handle it on her own, so when she finds out what he did, she feels deeply uncomfortable. She goes to confront him, only to find him drunk. Concerned, she takes him home in a taxi. When they accidentally fall onto the bed, he confesses his love for her. But she turns him down, reminding him that she's already in a relationship. He apologizes, and she's heartbroken, because despite everything, he's been her best friend for years. Devastated, she immediately rushes to her boyfriend. When they see each other, both break down in tears. She goes with him to visit his parents, and they're delighted to see them. After dinner, the couple grows nervous about revealing their relationship, especially her, unsure how his family will react. But the parents already suspect something, and with a little nudge, the other son spills the truth. Surprisingly, the father is overjoyed and fully supports their relationship. Even more shocking, her mother, the one she feared would disapprove, also gives her blessing. She only scolds them for not telling her sooner, admitting she had always believed he was the one for her. With the parents' approval, the couple feels relieved and more in love than ever. She returns to her campus room, but the door is already locked, so she has no choice but to spend the night in her boyfriend's room. He decides to sleep on the couch, and she lies down in his bed, but neither of them can sleep. She asks him to sleep next to her, and without hesitation, he does. They're both really nervous. He just takes her hand, and she asks why he's so tense. She comforts him and tells him there's no need to worry. She loves him and will always be by his side. Zhou Yu's parents return to the village after his father is discharged from the hospital. They're still unaware of the relationship. So when DJI's mother jokingly brings up their childhood engagement, she simply says it's in the past. When she later discovers their relationship, she feels a little disheartened, thinking her son isn't good enough for DJI due to their family's hardship. When our lovebirds learn about this, they feel quite sad. However, they decide to be together no matter what. He notices that one of her shoelaces is untied, and while tying it, he takes the opportunity to pull out a beautiful ring and propose. They both cry, and without hesitation, she says yes. How touching. Their mothers talk things through and finally clear up all misunderstandings. Overjoyed, they accept that their families were once close back in the city. She decorates his room and asks if he likes how it turned out. He replies seductively, "My home? You mean our home?" And just like that, they end up spending their first night together. He decides to give up a chance to study abroad. This makes her really upset. She tells him she doesn't want to stand in the way of his dreams. He promises he won't leave, and she promises she'll wait. They seal it with a romantic kiss the night before his departure. Both are heartbroken. He doesn't want to go, but she tells him he must, and that she'll be there when he returns. They begin a long-distance relationship, calling each other every chance they get and celebrating special moments through video chats. 2 years later, Dexy graduates with a degree in computer science. While celebrating and taking pictures with her classmate, her beloved show shows up. She couldn't be happier. He gives her a romantic kiss, and her friends end up filming them. Back at their basement apartment, he asks her to check the box on the top shelf for his passport. Inside, she finds all the little drawings he gave her over the years. When she was about to open the last box, she found a beautiful ring inside. He knelt down and proposed to her again. She said yes and put on her second ring, beaming with joy. It was the anniversary of her old school, and they both attended, walking through the halls that brought back so many fond memories. A teacher quietly told Jian that he had originally applied to study arts because he thought she would. But when she showed up in the teacher's lounge to apply for science instead, he switched his choice to science just to be with her. They eventually ended up in his old classroom, a place full of their shared memory. She noticed a phrase he had carved into his desk for her. He had actually written his name, but disguised it with another word. Then he revealed another secret, his biology notebook. Inside, he had written, "I like you, silly." She smiled and told him she had always known. That was their secret all along, their love confession as kids, never spoken aloud but always understood. And so, this beautiful love story ends with our main characters holding hands, happy to be together, and reminiscing about the sweet moments they shared in their youth. If you're a fan of dramas and want to keep watching recaps like this, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a new video.